Masturbation might seem harmless, just a stress reliever, a private habit. But what happens when it turns into a cycle you can't break? When it drains your energy, dulls your focus, and keeps you stuck in a loop of guilt, shame, and regret? If you've ever tried to quit but failed, you're not alone. Many struggle with this invisible addiction. That's why this video exists, to give you real, practical strategies to break free from this habit once and for all. Here are 7 powerful ways to quit masturbation for good. Strategies that work not just on your body, but on your mind, your emotions, and your willpower. 1. Identify your triggers. Breaking any addiction begins with self-awareness. You cannot defeat what you cannot define. And when it comes to masturbation, most people think the root cause is just sexual arousal. But more often than not, the deeper truth is that masturbation is just the symptom. The real drivers are boredom, stress, loneliness, anxiety, emotional suppression, or simply habit loops triggered by your environment. Imagine this: it's 11:30 p.m. You're lying in bed, phone in hand, scrolling through reels or shorts. You've had a long day. Maybe you feel lonely, unfulfilled, or just aimless. Suddenly one image or video changes your state. Dopamine surges. Before you even realize you're watching porn. Minutes later, regret. This wasn't about sex. It was about escape. And your brain used the path it knows best: masturbation. So how do you break this? You become a detective of your own behavior. Start with a trigger journal. For the next 7 days, every time you feel the urge, pause and jot down: time of day. What were you doing right before? Emotional state: bored, sad, anxious, tired. Location: bed, bathroom, sofa. What was the cue? Image, video, thought, boredom. After a week you'll notice patterns. Maybe it's always after dinner, or when you're alone in your room, or when you feel unproductive. These are your top triggers. Now, once you've identified these, it's time to attack them. If boredom is your cue, pre-plan activities during those times. Read a book, draw, go for a walk, solve puzzles, call a friend. The mind seeks stimulation. Feed it something productive. If stress is your trigger, learn healthier emotional regulation. Deep breathing, journaling, stretching, or even screaming into a pillow can release tension. If social media is the culprit, use digital boundaries. Block sites, unfollow triggering accounts. Use grayscale mode. The more friction between you and your trigger, the more time your brain has to reset. Remember, this is not about shame. It's about understanding. Your body is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Masturbation becomes a shortcut when you're not consciously choosing better responses. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer landmines in your environment. Remove them, and you give your brain the space to breathe and rewire. This one-step awareness of your top 3 triggers can reduce your urges by 50% alone, but only if you act on it. Don't just know your triggers. Disarm them. 2. Replace the habit with purposeful action. When you decide to stop doing something like masturbation, the worst mistake is to simply try to not do it. The brain doesn't work that way. Habits aren't erased, they're replaced. Every habit provides a reward. Masturbation, for example, offers temporary relief, pleasure, comfort, or a momentary sense of control. If you remove that and leave a vacuum, your mind will resist. It will crave. It will rebel. So what do? You must transmute that energy into something purposeful. Understand this: masturbation uses your physical, mental, and emotional energy. If you stop but don't redirect that same energy, it turns into pressure, restlessness, or even anxiety. But if you channel it into something productive, your life transforms. Start by defining your why. Why are you quitting? Better focus, muscle growth, spiritual alignment, stronger relationships. Write this down. Now set a purpose-driven goal, something that excites you and demands your discipline. Examples: build a strong, lean body, hit the gym 5x a week, launch a side hustle, work on it every evening for an hour, learn a new skill, coding, graphic design, music, video editing. The goal is not to distract yourself, it's to elevate yourself. When you feel the urge, don't fight it with fear. Redirect it with action. Do 20 push-ups. The physical strain reduces arousal. Take a cold shower. It shocks your system out of lust. Write a journal entry. Convert emotion into words. Meditate. Breathe into your craving. Watch it fade. Each time you win this small battle, you're rewiring your brain to seek real achievement instead of cheap dopamine. This is the path from lust to purpose, from impulse to intention. And here's the bonus: as you build skills, discipline, and confidence, your need for artificial pleasure naturally fades. You don't quit masturbation by pushing it away, you quit by outgrowing it. 3. Clean your digital environment. Your phone is your battlefield, and right now it's filled with enemies disguised as entertainment. The average person spends 3-6 hours daily on their phone. Think about how many of those minutes are spent on autopilot scrolling. Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, a suggestive thumbnail, a half-clothed influencer, a clickbait title. That's all it takes. Masturbation often doesn't begin in your body, it begins in your screen. So here's the truth: your digital environment must be redesigned. Start with the basics. Unfollow any account that posts sexual content, even if it's just suggestive. Block websites you usually visit during relapses. Use apps like Cold Turkey for PC, BlockSite for mobile, Stay Focused, Freedom, or App Block. Set screen time limits for entertainment apps. Use downtime mode after 9 or 10 p.m. Then go further. Create a NoFap phone mode. Remove social media apps completely, or hide them in folders. Use grayscale mode. It makes apps less visually addictive. Delete private browsers or incognito modes if possible. Customize your homepage with productivity widgets, notes, to-do list, quotes, etc. At night, charge your phone away from your bed. Use an analog alarm clock if needed. Why does this work? Because cravings are often automatic. If you reduce the visual or behavioral triggers, your urges reduce drastically. Less exposure equals fewer urges. Your phone should be a tool for your growth, not your downfall. Treat it like your mind's gym, not its strip club. Reclaim your digital space, and you reclaim your mind. 4. Build a daily routine. Chaos fuels addiction. Discipline destroys it. Most people who struggle with masturbation don't just have a porn problem, they have a structure problem. Their day lacks rhythm, their time is scattered, and their energy is reactive, not intentional. A routine isn't about being robotic, it's about designing a life where self-control becomes automatic. Let's break this down step by step. Morning routine. Start strong. Wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Avoid your phone for the first hour. Do 5-10 minutes of movement, walk, yoga, jump rope. Journal. Write 3 things you're grateful for, plus your intention for the day. Meditate, or do breath work. Train your mind to sit with discomfort. Daytime structure. Stay focused. Block time for deep work or study. Use Pomodoro 25-min work, 5-min break. Eat clean, high-protein meals. Avoid junk. It impacts mood and hormones. Hydrate well. Dehydration often increases restlessness. Limit caffeine. Excess stimulates anxiety and can amplify urges. Evening routine. End clean. No screens 1 hour before bed. Read instead. Reflect, what did I do well today? Where did I slip? Set your clothes. Journal and water for the morning. Sleep early. Between 10 to 11 p.m. is ideal for hormonal balance. When your days are structured, your brain doesn't wander. And when it doesn't wander, it doesn't fall into traps. Also, a routine builds self-trust. Every small commitment you keep rewires your identity. You go from I'm out of control to I run my life. And remember, consistency beats intensity. Start small. Add 1 habit every week. Build your rhythm brick by brick. Your routine is your armor. Your calendar is your battlefield. Win there and the urges lose. 5. Talk to yourself like a champion. If you talk to yourself like a failure, you will live like one. Your inner voice is the most powerful influence on your habits. If your self-talk is filled with shame, blame, and weakness, your identity begins to align with it. Let's say you relapse and say, I'm such a loser, I'll never quit, I'm disgusting. Your brain doesn't argue. It accepts and programs those words as truth. This is why many people stay stuck, not because they lack effort, but because they lack belief. You must rewrite your self-image. Start with affirmations. These aren't cheesy motivational quotes. These are neuro-linguistic tools that reshape your subconscious. Examples: I am stronger than any urge. I control my actions with calm and confidence. I'm building a life I'm proud of. I choose growth over guilt. Say them aloud. Write them in your journal. Record them and listen before sleep. When spoken with belief and repetition, your brain rewires itself. But go further. Create an alter ego, the future version of you who is already clean, confident and focused. Visualize how he walks, talks, works and lives. Every time you feel weak, ask what would he do? Would he give in to lust, or rise above it? You don't break a habit just with strategy. You break it with identity transformation. Talk to yourself like a champion, and you'll behave like one. 6. Get accountable, even in private. You don't have to shout your NoFap journey from rooftops, but walking it entirely alone is a recipe for relapse. Accountability doesn't mean public exposure, it means private commitment. Start simple, use a habit tracker. Mark an X for every clean day. Watch your streak grow. Write a daily journal. Did I face urges today? How did I respond? Set weekly self-challenges, 7-day streaks, early mornings, no sugar etc. Now level up. Join anonymous NoFap groups on Reddit, Discord or Telegram. Read others' stories, share your struggles, learn from wins and slips. Use NoFap apps like NoFap Streak, Rewire or Fortify. These offer reminders, motivation and community. Still not comfortable sharing? Create a private Google Sheet or physical notebook and update your streak daily. Color code it. Add motivation quotes. Why does this help? Because once you start tracking something, your brain treats it with importance. You begin to take ownership. You move from emotion to intention, and when you see your own progress, your self-belief multiplies. Even when no one else knows, you know, and that private pride becomes your power. Discipline without accountability is fragile, but discipline with systems, that's how transformation happens. 7. Forgive yourself and keep moving. Here's the hardest part of quitting: dealing with failure. Most people who fail NoFap don't fail because of the urges. They fail because of the guilt spiral that follows a relapse. One bad night turns into a binge week. Why? Because they label themselves a failure. I messed up again, so what's the point? They surrender to shame. But here's the truth. Every relapse is feedback, not final. The goal is not perfection, it's resilience. When you slip, 1. Stop immediately. Don't continue the binge. 2. Write down exactly what triggered it. 3. Reflect, what can I do differently next time? 4. Recommit. Say your affirmations. Start your streak from day 0. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. It's saying this moment doesn't define me. My comeback does. Also remember, the brain learns fastest through mistakes followed by reflection. If you relapse and journal your learning, you grow, you evolve, and over time, your relapse cycle becomes shorter and less frequent. Celebrate small wins. 3 clean days, 1 clean week, a clean month. Progress, not perfection. Don't expect to never fall. Just train yourself to rise faster. This is how champions are built. In the silence between slip and surrender, where most quit, you rise. Masturbation doesn't define you, but how you face your habits does. You don't need to be superhuman to quit. You just need awareness, intention, and a strategy. These 7 steps won't just help you stop a habit, they'll help you start a whole new chapter of strength, clarity, and purpose. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, then this is your path. Subscribe to NoFap Nation for real strategies, honest conversations, and the motivation you need to take back control of your life. Your journey starts now, and this time, you're not alone.